The news at 10. Good evening, I'm Micah Ohm.
And I'm Cher Calvin. Delays, cancellations, and long lines. Chaos at the nation's airports is about to get worse just in time for the peak holiday travel season.
The FAA announcing today it will reduce air traffic at 40 airports across the country, including LAX, all because of the government shutdown. That shutdown now the longest in U.S. history with no end in sight, and the pain for the American people is getting worse. Federal workers are not being paid, and food banks are running low.
We have live team coverage of the pain caused by the shutdown. Rick Chambers has the latest on the growing food crisis. But we begin with John Fenolio live at LAX with the travel turmoil. John.
Cher and Mike, the FAA has already been canceling or delaying flights at many airports due to widespread staffing shortages. Federal workers, including air traffic controllers and TSA employees, have been working without pay since October 1st. Now, many of them continue or simply not showing up for work, and as a result, the FAA says thousands of flights will be canceled in the coming days, including many right here at LAX. Tonight, the federal government says some of the flying public should prepare to be grounded.
Our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing the FAA will cut air traffic by 10% at 40 of the busiest airports across the country beginning Friday morning, meaning thousands of flights will be canceled or rescheduled. The reason? Growing staffing shortages due to the federal government shutdown. Now the longest in U.S. history.
And what we're finding is that our air traffic controllers, because of the financial pressures at home, are taking side jobs. They need to put food on the table, gas in the car, pay their bills.
A 10% reduction in air traffic could impact more than 4,400 flights each day. Already short-staffed, some 13,000 air traffic controllers and about 60,000 TSA workers have gone without pay for weeks. And they're on track to miss a second paycheck next Tuesday.
Dude, this is insane.
At Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport Sunday, long lines of travelers waited more than 4 hours just to get through TSA security checkpoints due to staffing shortages.
We missed our original flight, so we came here around 2.5 hours in advance, and the lines were to outside. So we had to wait around, or we would have had to wait around 5 to 6 hours to get into the actual airport itself.
I hope that they, all the jobs are honored, that the workers are honored.
Hopefully it doesn't get any worse. And, the way it is these days, I'm not sure what's going to happen next.
Secretary Duffy says plan on more travel chaos if the federal shutdown stretches into next week.
You will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
All right, all clear now at LAX, but again, flight cancellations are coming. And of course, this could all snowball well into the holidays as the travel rush really picks up. As for those airports that will be impacted, they include LAX, Atlanta, Chicago, JFK, Newark, Miami, Houston, and Dallas, just to name a few. The FAA says it will release its final list of those 40 airports sometime tomorrow. We're live at LAX. I'm John Fenolio, sending it back to you.
John, thank you. The need for food in LA County is exploding, and local food banks are being stretched to the breaking point, with organizations that already operate at capacity now serving hundreds more families. With SNAP benefits stalled and shelves running bare, families who never imagined they'd be in a food line are turning to missions and shelters simply because they have no other choice.
Rick Chambers is live downtown with more on the growing crisis tonight. Rick.
Yeah, Micah, we're talking about 500,000 people that live here in Southern California that are using what are basically food stamps. Now, many of these folks are children and senior citizens who, for whatever reason, may find themselves hungry tonight. Now, the missions, like you see behind me, are, as you mentioned, doing what they can, but this influx in need is just overwhelming. The hungry start flowing into the LA Mission about 5:30 each evening. Fish sticks, rice, and a vegetable fill the plates this time For some, the only hot meal they might get today.
They always do everything they can, but sometimes the portions do get very, very short, and I'll just go to sleep hungry.
And with SNAP, or supplemental food benefits, now on hold because of the government shutdown, plenty of new faces are already filling the bread lines.
I've never seen it, and I've been volunteering here since 2013. Nothing like this.
It's only been a week.
It's only been a week, but they're completely shut off from food.
Dennis Oliski runs the LA mission, and Rowan Van Sleeve hope the mission. And they are partnering to funnel nourishment to people in crisis.
With SNAP benefits off, it's creating a situation we could see young people and kids here on Skid Row and more people in our communities and neighborhoods who are finding themselves without food and on the streets.
And the strain is already being felt.
We normally run a 3 to 4 month supply in our warehouse, but we're going to deplete those probably within the next 30 days. We're also handing out 2-week supplies of groceries to families that need it. We're doing 100 boxes of groceries a day right now, along with hope. But who knows how long it's going to last.
The courts have ordered the government to fund SNAP for November, but there's only enough money, they say, for about half the benefits, and there's no telling when they'll be available. Communities will have to rely on the already hard-hit food banks and the generosity of those who have to provide for those who don't.
I'd put my money on the people of this city. We're going to meet this crisis.
It's going to take many of us to reach out and help those and donate to the food banks. And if you have a neighbor or a friend in need, again, reach out to them. In downtown LA, I'm Rick Chambers. Guys, I'll throw it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Rick. Long lines were also seen today at the LA Regional Food Bank during a free food distribution event in the City of Industry. Lines wrapping around the block for the food distribution in the parking lot of the Expo Center. As one person waiting to get supplies told us, his family is in dire need of food assistance, and unfortunately, he's not alone.
It's bad for me. It's why I'm here. I need it. My family need it. Yeah, I no idea what they give it to me, but anything is good for me.
And state officials turned out in East LA to announce additional funding for SNAP. Some $7.5 million will be used for food to be distributed through the YMCA's Feed LA program at 29 locations across LA County.
Voters here in California overwhelmingly passed Proposition 50, and Republicans have already filed a lawsuit claiming the measure is unconstitutional. The measure allows the state legislature to redraw congressional maps, flipping as many as 5 House seats for Democrats in the midterm elections next year. The move was in response to Republican efforts spearheaded by President Trump to have red states, including Texas, increase seats for the GOP. California Republicans say Prop 50 is unconstitutional because it falsely uses voters' race as a factor in configuring districts.
This whole process was a sham. And with this lawsuit, we will make sure that we will expose it.
We stood tall and we stood firm in response to Donald Trump's recklessness.
If the legal challenge fails, the new congressional district lines would favor Democrats through 2030. The state would then go back to the practice of having the congressional district map designed by a nonpartisan independent redistricting commission.
President Trump is reacting to the wave of stinging Republican losses. Election night today, he blames his own party.
The shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
The president is calling on Republicans to end the filibuster, which he says would allow Senate Republicans to end the shutdown with a simple majority. The president is also calling on Republicans to end mail-in ballots and to pass a voter ID law. A majority of the Supreme Court justices appear skeptical about the president's use of emergency powers to impose tariffs on countries around the world. The High Court heard arguments about the president's trade policies today and whether they violate the Constitution. The justices questioned the Trump administration's assertion that the president has the power to impose tariffs without congressional approval. The outcome of the case could have an enormous impact on the U.S. economy. A decision could be just weeks away.
Nice and cool night out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Vera Jimenez.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is nice and cool out there. We've got an opportunity to step outside, you felt it. You definitely felt it. Some of this afternoon's daytime highs: Redondo Beach, 68 degrees, 72 in Chatsworth. Los Alamitos hit 65, and Wrightwood hit 52. We are going to see those temperatures slowly increase, and that's because a ridge of high pressure is going to redevelop, and it's going to be with us not just tomorrow, but through the weekend. So we are going to see some of those numbers warm once again. Remember, the winds are going to be shifting. We had a lot of onshore flow. We had some strong winds over the Pacific Ocean, which accounts for the high surf advisory that we have in parts of the region. But the winds are going to be shifting out of the northeast, and that means warmer numbers over the weekend. Details in just a few minutes. Back to you guys for now.
Vera, thank you. The NTSB says preliminary evidence shows the left engine of a UPS cargo jet separated from the wing as the cargo plane was taking off in Louisville, Kentucky. The death toll now stands at 12, but is expected to rise. The MD-11 aircraft managed to clear a fence at the end of the runway before slamming into the ground.